Check, check.
Well, hey everyone, how we doing out there? This is the Flip Flop Investor Show, and I am your host, Todd Bayer, the Flip Flop Investor himself. Every week we get together. For those of you that don't know what the show is all about, what could the Flip Flop Investor Show possibly be about? We get together every week and talk about real estate investing here in the Inland Empire, and really anywhere in California, I suppose. It's not always limited to just here, but and if for those of you that have been following along, every month we try to stick to a theme. In January, we did goal setting, and then in February, we did a theme for business planning, and now that we're in March, we are doing acquisitions or, deal finding.
Nice.
So with deal finding, we are bringing in some very special guests, people that are, the big dogs in the industry out this way, talking about how they get their deals and whatnot. So today, we have one of our favorite guests, our first guest on the show, actually, is Jim Keller. How you doing, Jim?
Hey, I'm doing great, Todd. Great to be here.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you coming out because on this rainy Thursday afternoon, because we usually pre-record on Tuesdays, but, due to some scheduling issues and whatnot, we weren't able to make that happen.
I know, I'm kind of bummed. Last time we did this in Vegas, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I think you're right. I think we were in Vegas when the show actually aired. So let's jump right in.
Please. Acquisitions. I thought for a minute with the introduction, I thought like Donald Trump was going to show up.
Oh yeah.
I guess you couldn't get him. He's kind of busy these days. Or
yeah,
what?
his people reached out and
oh yeah.
They knew that we were on NBC News.
I heard Melania
here.
doesn't like to come to California. That's what I heard.
Supposedly the owners of the Mission Inn know her really well. I don't know.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh maybe she does enjoy it. Secret trips.
We
Exactly.
don't know. We'll find out. If Air Force Ones are parked out at March, we'll know what's going on.
Wouldn't that be cool to see?
I think they did do it one time. I think during the campaign trail, somebody had parked it down there, probably Barack Obama.
Yeah, exactly. I still would have went. I didn't realize that. But so acquisitions.
Yeah, deal finding.
Oh my gosh, man, that is a great topic.
But you've done it. You've found some deals before.
I found a few deals.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I've been trying to figure out how to kind of package all of this and help other people find properties. You know, and what is that? What's the secret sauce? What is it? What is it that's? I mean, it's a hard question. It really is. It's a hard question because
everybody wants that magic bullet.
Well, yeah. Oh
what's
no,
going to
Todd,
get me the deal today?
You don't sell it? I thought you sold it. I mean, I thought you can buy it in rolls in the Charmin. There's just there's
they have
so
them
many.
at Costco. Yeah,
exactly.
in bulk.
You can't just go buy a deal. I know it's really hard to do. And I was in Austin, Texas last week. South by Southwest was in town. It was pretty fun. I helped my oldest do a patio paver project.
Okay.
It was nice. The next day it poured rain and the thing didn't wash away. Good old dad actually knows what he's doing. It's pretty funny, isn't it? I love that. So so we're there enjoying ourselves, and you see, acquisitions. It's kind of like a sickness.
Yeah.
That I have, if that makes sense to you.
It does.
So here I'm in Austin, and I'm walking through Austin going, oh my gosh, look at that deal. Look at that deal.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, look at that deal. Yeah. And, I mean, it was fun. It was enjoyable to see it, but it was fun being there. And I listened live to, what is his name? Elon Musk talk about, how since let's say we all want, he was trying to justify the price of his new space travel that he says he's going to start booking in late 2019. Okay. So he's trying to convince some would-be purchaser that, hey, it costs, if you wanted to rent a 747, he said, and fly from San Francisco to Melbourne, Australia, it would cost you $500,000, and you could invite 300 of your friends. And that distance for that many people would cost $500,000.
Okay.
He says, so comparatively speaking, if I'm going to take you to the moon, I'm giving you a hell of a deal. So if you're ready to spend $500,000 for a 747.
But you get one seat. Isn't that the difference?
It was still, no, he broke it down to the mileage. Like, so that's 350 people times 16,000 miles equals, he had it all figured out. It was pretty slick. And I enjoyed listening to it.
350 of my friends going down to Melbourne, Australia sounds like a lot more fun
Todd,
than me by myself on the moon.
So you're telling me if you had $500,000 right now in your pocket, okay, and you got Elon sitting right here, and you got the Boeing sales guy right here, you're going to take 350 of your friends to Melbourne, Australia instead of going to the moon? Is that really what you're saying?
If I'm going to go to the moon by myself, what am I going to do there?
You're going to be at the freaking moon, man. You're going to be on the moon.
Like, hey, there's the Earth. I'll get island fever real fast. I'll be on an island of my own.
You're funny. Island fever.
I think I'd rather have 350 friends, to be quite honest.
Oh no, I would love to be. You'd be on the moon. Come on. What is it? The astronaut that like recited the Lord's Prayer or something as the Earth came up over.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool.
That would be you.
I'm not the early adopter of this. I'll be the guy that goes once it's an established thing. There's a moon.
Yeah.
There's a moon resort.
No, I'm sorry. I got So since we're talking, I mean, really, all he was doing is doing acquisitions with me.
Yeah.
That was like kind of where I was going here. Okay?
Yeah.
So that was, by the way, the late addendum on the contract. Was he can't guarantee your safety. You might die.
Well, of course not. I mean, what kind of expectation would
that
you
was
have?
And I enjoyed listening to it, and I enjoyed driving through Austin. By the way, only 3 of the bombs had gone off when I was in town.
Okay.
It was kind of crazy. Well, it's weird to see the world like that, huh?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I kind of remember like the San Bernardino thing that happened a few years back. I mean, I was just down the street checking on a property we were doing a loan on.
Oh, and
really? We saw a SWAT truck, and
crazy.
It flew right past us, right down hospitality.
Well, I know my partners. They do a lot of business with that whole outfit. But anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm to get back to acquisitions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back to.
I have this great story that I want to tell you.
All right.
Okay. And
you've been building me up about this. You're telling me you have this great.
I got a good story,
story.
and I don't want to I don't want to get too crazy on you. I don't want to use names or anything like that. But I have a home in it's a relatively, I would call it a coastal part of town.
Okay.
Okay. And in this home, I had my bird dog out on the streets. And we've got several of those guys out there trying to find houses. And this is a gentleman I've closed escrows with before. I know what he's bringing me is real.
Sure.
And we started working on this in probably May of 17.
Okay.
And I think by sometime in July, we finally got an offer. We finally got everything over to them for a $470 purchase. And they just flat out said, no, we want to stay here. We don't want to move. The problem is that they're going to go 4 years delinquent on their taxes, on their property taxes.
So they have a plan, I'm guessing, to
the
remedy
plan,
this.
I think, was me.
Yeah.
And then when they realized, I have to move, then it got a little bit more real. Now, so this location is a very nice, centrally located location. It's a simple home. It's a lot like the houses we typically do, like the three bedroom, 2 baths,
Sure.
or 4 bedroom, 2.5 bath. I think it's 1,800 square feet.
Okay. That's a big.
It's maybe a mile and a half from the ocean.
Wow.
And essentially, kind of centrally located in Southern California.
I guess for the people out there that don't understand why 4 years delinquent on their tax bill is an important thing, is because once you go 5 years delinquent, you can go to the tax sale and lose your home.
Absolutely.
That way.
And in fact, I think in a couple of weeks, the clock actually starts ticking, and I think the house actually technically goes to sale in March of 2008. March of 2019.
2019. So this time next year.
Yeah. So, the problem is they don't have a solution. They don't have a solution on how to get out of where they're at.
All they have is a little equity.
Yeah. So my team got involved. We actually put a contract together on the property. So funny enough, as after all the facts were known and after everything figured out, the price went down by about $50,000.
Okay.
So we have a contract for that property, and we've been working on getting it. We've been working on closing the deal for weeks now, okay? And the people are kind of interesting because, think about this. You got a house that's worth maybe $750,000.
Sure.
And you keep it in condition that somebody is offering you below $500,000.
Yeah.
And you haven't paid your property taxes, which, by the way, this house was given to this nice lady probably, I think it's like 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay.
Free and clear. So
Wow.
there was no.
She win it in a contest or
this
something?
So remember years ago they were talking about all of these people that were going to be being willed and through trusts and wills and inheriting and probate, all of this, all of that stuff. So there's a lot of those people got all that property 2, 3, 4 years ago, and what's happening right now? All the ones that didn't know how to pay their bills, that don't know how to do simple things like taxes, because guess what the amount of 4 years of taxes are for these people?
Well,
it's a $750,000 house.
Okay, so 1.25% of $750,000 times 4.
The problem with that is, remember, the basis when they inherited this was very tiny, because it was when the market was at its lowest. Okay. So I don't actually know what the monthly deal is, but they owe $18,000 for not paying their taxes for 4 years.
Wow, you gotta love that Prop 13.
Oh yeah. So I mean, what the heck? But of course, since then there's been some ancillary liens and judgments that they've gone to court and lost, and I think that's what I'm noticing most of all right now is that companies out there are not really letting you slide.
No.
So like 4, 5, 6, 8 years ago,
sure,
no one knew what was going on. I don't know. I personally know people that got. I had a gentleman I work with. They just forgave $120,000 second. It was part of one of the settlements with Bank of America.
Yeah,
back in
countrywide
the day.
and all
but
that.
I mean, I'm not seeing anything like that. And a lot of the people that are out there kind of have this attitude that, they'll just forgive that. Oh, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, we're past that.
There's been no interest on that $54,000 judgment that I had from 2008, and then boom, you go to look at it, and they owe $96,000. Yeah. And it's just shocking. So there's a similar situation on this transaction.
Sure.
So we're having a hard time getting them to agree to when they're going to leave, and there are all kinds of second thoughts as to all of this. So every time I meet with these folks, they want a little something from me.
Okay. Some cash.
Cash. Yeah,
okay.
Cash. Jacksons. What do they call it?
Yeah.
Franklin's?
Benjamins.
Yeah, exactly. They want some Benjamins.
Yeah, drop the Benjis.
They want some Benjis, yeah. So I'm up to $4,500.
In cash.
Now, just so you understand, I don't have an earnest money deposit. My earnest money deposit is that money.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
but I've just been kind of breaking it to them, and so every time I do that, I get an escrow amendment.
Okay.
And
as a release,
and it adds to the total.
Yeah.
Okay. And every time, and then one time they wanted an extension of time. Okay, as to when they were going to close escrow, and when that happened, they wanted a little bit of dough. So I got their signature on an ongoing open escrow where we were going to actually close escrow, and they understood it. I have their signed signature on closing documents that say how much money they're going to receive. My escrow instructions say that I'm an investor, and I am purchasing this property under value, and I'll sell it for a profit. My escrow instructions actually say that.
Okay.
And just a couple of days ago, they called me and said they want to cancel.
Okay.
Because they're going to pay their taxes, and everyone wants to live as one under the roof out there in this home that you can't.
What's the
They
smell?
don't have a kitchen sink.
Okay.
They have 2x2s that are clamped together with clamps that holds up like a basin that you'd wash a dog in.
Okay.
Okay.
Like a laundry wash basin or something.
Yeah. That's their kitchen sink. I'm not even comfortable going into everything I've seen there. But how about I say this? I've had team members that have been threatened there. My real estate agent was in tears and just was flat out looking at me, going, "I thought you were better than this. Like, why would you deal with people like this?"
Yeah.
This was the attitude I was getting from my team members.
Yeah.
I mean, it was rough. It was a rough deal. And then these people. So now they say they're going to leave. And frankly, I was disappointed. I was pissed. I was upset that they're going to leave, but it's their home, and I'm not going to be that guy that you got to close.
Right.
And it took, and so I went on. I didn't go on vacation. I went to Austin.
Right.
And they were tracking me down, and I was like, wait a minute, there's something else going on here.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't get them to answer the phone with me to close escrow, and now they're chasing me down. So I let it sit for a couple of days. My escrow officer was upset at me because I was messing. I'm doing air quotes right now. Messing with this poor woman.
Okay.
And obviously, I don't think that was actually the whole story, because a couple of days ago, escrow calls me and says, hey, they want to know why you're not signing. You need to call this real estate broker because he wants to know why.
Okay.
So I call this real estate broker, and he's a nice guy. I got really nothing bad to say about him. He's just protecting his agent.
Right.
But he starts to take me to the woodshed about how I need to sign this document. He kept on saying this document.
Yeah.
And I said, well, after I established who he was, and we kind of we did like a minute of verbal sparring.
Okay.
And finally, he says, let's get back to the document. I said, well, can you tell me what document do you want me to sign? Well, there's a cancellation there. I said, cancellation of what? He says, well, I mean, I don't really know. I'm not really a party to this. And I say, well, I'll tell you what it is. It's a contract. Okay, and I've given them $4,500 cash money, okay, on their promise to sell me the property.
Yeah.
And now they don't want to sell it because they want you to sell it. Tell me, how much do they want for the property? Oh, they want an amount. They want $80,000 more. I'm sorry, it's a little more than that. But they want more money than what I was paying for the property.
Okay. They want to pay his
over $100,000 more they wanted for the property.
Okay.
So I said, well, that's perfect, because I could be convinced to sell my property to anyone for $550,000, but I have to close the escrow with them first.
Yeah.
And he kind of like chuckled. It was pretty funny. He was,
Yeah.
and so I went on to say, hey, you're a broker. Tell me, if I had a contract with you and you just sold my $1 million house, and instead of paying you a $60,000 commission, I only want to pay you a $30,000 commission, what would you say to that?
Yeah.
Silence. He was silent, and I went, exactly. Your silence to me tells me you know exactly what I'm talking about. I've worked very hard to put this whole thing together for them. I thought we were operating in good faith, so all of this. And he says, well, I don't really understand exactly. He's still back to tell me more about the deal. And I ran through the whole everything that we've done, all the stuff, everything. And I'll be honest with you, what I did is I increased my offer to them. I don't have to do this, but I certainly want them to close. I can still buy the house for a little bit more. So I offered them a little bit more, and we're waiting to hear back from them today as to if they're going to go through with it all. But it was really funny. In the conversation, I turned the conversation, and yes, it felt so good to do it. That pivot,
Oh, yeah.
I went, so-and-so.
Yeah. It's okay.
I would love to hire you as my agent.
Right.
I've got X amount of money, and I don't care how much of it goes to her, and I don't care how much of it goes to you. So if you want to keep it all and put a contract together where you get to keep all that money, and they'll accept what I'm going to give them for the house, that's fine with me, or you can split it however you want. So he gave 20% he kept 20% of the money, and he's giving 80% of the money of the extra I'm paying to them. That's the offer I have. But now, so think about it. What are my problems now? So because I had to deal with this on the phone. My problems at that point become, it's an extra $50,000 I'm giving for the house. Okay?
Yeah.
And I flat out said, listen, if I'm going to pay $50,000 more, there's certain things I need. Because when I had an extra $50,000 on this deal, I could afford the hazarded material disposal of the heroin needles that are on the ground.
Wow.
I could afford I could afford all of the things that I could I can send one of my good guys that I don't want to ever get sick. I can send them out there, and I can afford to have an actual, company dispose of this kind of stuff. Or how about the $8,000 of the trash and crud that's all over the property?
Yeah.
So I said, all of that's got to be gone.
Yeah, they get to take care of it.
Yeah. I said, because that's going to be about $10,000.
They can leave the basin, though,
or
right?
if they want to, they can certainly contract with me to do that.
Yeah.
It'll cost $10,000. So the number the 50,000 minus 10,000 is what I was talking about. And of course, they don't want to do that. I said, fine. Okay. So then I said, we can close in 14 days from today, tomorrow, whenever it is.
Okay.
and I'll be happy to pay you $300 a day for every day after the 14 days. But if I'm going to do that, I want $300 a day from you for every day you don't close after the 15
per diem.
After the 15 days.
Yeah. We put a per diem on a property of ours we're trying to sell too right now. Yeah, because and we signed loan docs on this thing like 3 weeks ago.
So I'm talking about a property I'm trying to buy.
Yeah, this is what we're trying to sell.
I know, I know it.
And yeah, we're they're comfortable paying the per diem.
Yeah, but I think I like being heavy-handed like that up front.
Sure.
I got to tell you, I think it sets the tone for the deal properly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can tell you right now, there has been times when we haven't charged per diems, when we haven't done those things, when we haven't enforced the penalties. Mm-hmm. If there's actual good faith, if people are actually doing what they say they're going to do, it's not about me making an extra, $141 on the transaction.
Yeah, especially if it's going to hold up the close.
Even if it's $800. Yeah. You know what? That's actually become one of the problems. Is if you we had one a while back that we had a $1,700 fee coming in from per diem on the close. And it totally messed up all the ratios because they didn't have the cash. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying?
And the lender's not familiar. They don't know about this per diem until you're going to close, and they're like, "What's this?" We don't balance out.
So we ended up having to, we ended up negotiating, and we got some money from the lender. The lenders. That's why whenever I hear the lenders tell me the deal can't go, I always laugh because, come on, dude, there's always an extra $800 from the lender.
Somewhere, yeah.
Oops, I hope my lender's not listening.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, come on. Come on.
Well, it's all, and that's a recent change, because of TRID and all this stuff. The new changes with lending. Where
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, everything's got to be disclosed up front now. So like they don't even send out loan docs until the loan balance all balances out. The loan, that's what am I thinking of?
You know what I love about what we do right now is that used to be my life.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that I don't have to. I mean, I understand the expenses on all the loans,
sure,
everything else. I do get the bottom line, but how it all gets to that point, it's so confusing. In fact, I heard a really interesting story about lending right now because there's so many loan officers out there that have done well in the last 7, 8, 9 years. It's been a nice ride for those guys, right? Yeah. Well, all of a sudden, with rising rates, that whole refi market's gone. Yeah. And so there's going to be a lot of I think there's going to be a lot of dead wood in that industry sort of falling away, and I hate to call anyone dead wood, but, it's a good time for maybe some of these guys to become real estate investors or a good time for these guys to, do all kinds of things. Hey, you've got kind of an interesting thing you're working on. Is it too early to talk about that? Your website?
It's slightly early, but I know we have some fans out there in the flip flop investor fans, of course, and we've been talking about doing this thing for a little while. Where we're creating cool stuff for real estate investors. That's what we do. We put out tools. We have the club. We have all kinds of cool stuff for local real estate investors, and me and Steven decided we should start a Patreon page. Patreon. And this is an old thing. So think about Mozart back in the day. Uh-huh. Mozart had patrons, people that just paid him money so he could cover his living expenses so that he could write music because they liked his music. Yes. So people just paid him money to write music, and then when he was done with something, he'd go perform it. His patrons would get invited. It was a whole to-do. Now, this is a new world of media, but patrons never went anywhere. Yeah. But this website, Patreon, is a great way.
Everyone wants influence. Everyone wants to be on the cutting edge. Everyone wants to say, I know Todd at the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club.
Exactly. We went to Vegas last year together.
It was awesome. I was there. I had a great time.
Yeah, you were. And so we'll be doing it again hopefully this year. I think we're planning late August or early September.
That sounds good, but when do I book the trip to, let's just say, Monaco, because I'd really love to see the Grand Prix?
So the Monaco thing, that's in April, so we'd have to do it next year.
Man, I'm telling you right now, I'm officially in. You hear that, honey? Get your bathing suit. We're going to Monte Carlo.
Yeah, the French Riviera.
Tell me, can you get into the Grand Hotel with shorts and a T-shirt?
No. I tried.
You've been there before? You tried to do this before?
I tried to get into the Monte Carlo casino, the Casino Royale. I showed up in...
it was Casino... I'm sorry, the Casino Royale.
I wanted to check it out, and I show up in jeans and a UC Santa Cruz banana slug sweatshirt, you know. And,
So you're telling me the Europeans do not like banana slugs? Is
they
that what I'm
stopped
hearing
me
right now?
right at the door. I couldn't even see inside, and they told me you need to have a jacket and a tie. And I said, well, can you rent one to me? And they said, we don't exactly do that here. And I'm like, well, is there a suit shop nearby I can, go buy one? And they made some other kind of, rude comment to me about, like they're not a map service or something like that, like I'm like, okay, thanks a lot for your help.
You stupid American.
Pretty much, yeah. And I'm like, I have money I'm trying to give you guys,
It's all about the money with you. This is an experience they're selling. Come on.
It was, I have to wear a suit, so apparently I got
I remember I was a kid, we were in New Orleans one time. We went to Tavern on the Green restaurant, was like a really popular restaurant, and this would have been like the late 70s. Sure enough, good old Jim. I didn't have a jacket on. I had a button-down shirt, but no jacket.
Okay.
So there's a great picture of me with the family at the restaurant, and the sleeves are up, like to
up to your
mid-forearm.
elbows. Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
Fat guy in a little
those
coat.
Those are good days. Those are good days. Yeah, I was like 12 or 13. I don't know what the heck.
That's funny.
That was the gawky stage.
Right.
Exactly.
So, yeah, the Patreon page, we're going to put that up. There's going to be a lot of cool things for people that want to be our patrons at certain levels, where we're going to have, like the trip to Vegas.
I'm in, man. I'm in. I think it sounds fun. I think it sounds like a lot of fun.
It's going to be a blast. And then there's also, we're going to be doing monthly events and things like that people can come to, because it's all about community and bringing everybody together. You get to meet all the other people that are in this industry, too. So,
well, I had a really great time. You guys invited me to the to Lance.
The market forecast.
Yeah, the market forecast.
Mm-hmm.
It was really nice.
Coldwell Banker Town and Country.
Oh, I'll tell you. You know what? Smart guys. He's followed up with me 3 times. One of their agents has followed up with me. I don't know if I've got a deal today with them, but we're at least talking to one another. It's
and their follow-up system's great.
Yeah, they did a really good job. But I enjoyed going to that, and I remember making the toast to you, both you and Steven, because I remember when it was just kind of us kind of hanging out.
Yeah, exactly. Now we have this whole group of people. Yeah,
it was like every time I come, it's somebody new. But you guys obviously had your kind of like clique that you were working on back then, but. We weren't really doing anything, and now, boom! That was a great event. We sipped champagne mimosas.
We did a tailgate before the event. Yeah,
exactly. I'm still giggling at Tyler calling it champs. What the heck? Like champs?
Yeah.
What the heck? I don't know.
Trying to be bougie.
Is that it?
Yeah, maybe.
So yeah, that was actually pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, being a real estate investor is fun too. Like we got to have some fun with it.
Yeah.
Because. We make a decent income, right? I mean, we're doing all right for ourselves. There's a lot of other people that are doing all right.
There's a lot of money going everywhere. I'm not sure how much of it we're actually making.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes
I'm
everywhere.
seeing a lot of big numbers fly around. I don't see it ever in my account for some reason. I don't know. No, but we like to have fun. And what's the point of making money if you're not going to spend time with your friends and enjoy it? So
there you go.
It's about there's a community there, and we want to do stuff and have a good time and enjoy this lifestyle that we're all living now.
Well, usually right about now in this conversation, I would pull out the photographs of the McAllen 18. A good friend of mine had at his house. I'm not a guy who drinks that all the time.
Yeah,
Todd, a good friend of mine, gave me McAllen. It was awesome.
Yeah, we were seeing double that night because I think we had 2 bottles of that, didn't we?
I think. Oh my gosh, there was. Yeah. No, good times though. Good times, and I not that drinking expensive whiskey is the be all end all. It was fun. We worked really hard. I know I've been working my butt off the last couple of months. Last year it's been pretty crazy. It's nice to kind of get away, and I got to break it to my wife. I think she might be listening right now.
Okay, so you want to give her some words of
well, I mean,
thanks.
I don't really. It's thank you for sure, but it's not an easy job these days to keep a marriage going and work hard and there's a lot going on. It's not just us. I don't know how does that work out with your wife?
I mean, it's a I got a full-time job 24 hours a day. I have to give my attention in every direction. multiple times a day. So, I'm throughout the day, it's tough for my wife to get attention away from the business, and during the evening time, it's tough for the business to get time away from my wife and kids.
Well, I know I'll be going home to that tonight. We're Todd. You were nice enough to invite me out to the hockey game tonight. I think that's going to be a great time.
Basketball.
Oh, it's basketball.
It's basketball tonight. No, I wish it was.
What an idiot.
You know what?
Now she's heard me say that. She's like, what?
Yeah.
No, basketball will be nice. I'm looking forward to it. But
last time they sold our seats to another group.
Oh, did they?
And actually 2 other groups. They sold our seats that we have season tickets for, and they sold them to some other groups. And they ended up they comped us down on the floor. So we had 4 seats.
I hope that happens tonight.
We kind of do in a way.
I would really enjoy it. It'll be a good time. But trying to make that into the confine of work, she's a hard worker. She's out there right now doing some accounting or whatever for us right now. But it's hard to kind of see, here I'm talking on a radio show, and that's so hard, but it. It's not easy to sit for an hour and talk and think
right.
and everything, and then to go on to this fun with the boys, which I'll still learn a lot. Whenever I hang out with you guys, I pick up a gem that's really needed, and you don't know these days. You don't know these days what you're stumbling into.
Sure.
There's deals out there. There's deals literally that don't have buyers for them or people smart enough to put the deals together where millions of dollars are at stake.
That's why it's nice to be in a group with other people that are in this industry, and that's why the club is great, the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club, bringing all these people together because, we don't know everything. I don't claim to know everything, but there's somebody that might have a little nugget of information that they've done in the past, and they, and that all of a sudden is the thing that's going to make that next deal work. And it's great to have that community of people. So sometimes, we might be dropping these nuggets, but I mean, you've dropped stuff on us before that we've learned, and we're like, wow, I never thought of that before,
Yeah, and I'm trying to tie it back to your website you're talking about,
the Patreon thing,
Patreon site. Okay, because I've looked at many coaches. I have a coach now that I pay. I don't pay $15,000 a month to that coach, but that coach doesn't provide me the services that you guys are talking about.
Right.
But I pay way over $1,000 a month for this coach to help me with all kinds of things, and there's no way I could know everything about banking. The intricacies of banking. I know you're very good at it. That's essentially the industry you came from. But
partly,
I'm certainly not in a contest with you. That's not what I'm saying. But I've got 800 escrows underneath me. 800, not 1,000. 800 escrows behind me, and that 800 escrows gives me a confidence that I'm not saying you don't have. That's not it. But there's a large amount of experience there that helps me through a lot of things. And people nowadays, it's like the new people in the business don't want to pay that any mind. They don't want to pay attention to that.
Yeah, they want the
and
shortcut.
That's the part I don't really get.
The shortcut doesn't work.
About a lot of these folks, everyone's like, oh yeah, that's a great business. I thought of doing it, and they ask you a couple questions, and you say, yeah, I just purchased this house for $286, and we're going to sell it for $471,000. And the first thing they say is, wow, you're going to make whatever that number,
$180,000.
$180,000.
Yeah, you're like, no, not entirely. I still got to spend some money on the rehab. Then I have an agent I'm going to have to pay. I have an escrow.
And then at the end of the deal, I say, if everything works out great, we'll make $42,000. That's what the company will make. And then there's a bunch of mouths that got to be fed at the company.
Yeah.
And they look at you and they go, well, where'd the $108,000 go? they're completely flabbergasted.
Yeah.
But then I don't think they're I don't think people are malicious about it. I just don't think anyone really puts the thought into really understanding where it all goes, and just all of the crazy.
Well, the flip shop, the shows on TV, the flipper flop show, all these other.
There's only 4 line items on the on their before and after calculation.
Yeah, they didn't pay for anything, So it gives the appearance that they're making that big chunk of money. Yeah. But I've seen some of those deals where they're so thin that the numbers they're showing up there, I'm like, wow, they most likely lost about $20,000 on that one.
Remember, didn't you guys finance? Or I'm not sure if you guys did. Maybe it was right after we stopped doing that kind of business together. I did a deal in Pomona, and we took that deal from one of the guys that well, he does. Him and his wife don't work together anymore.
Okay,
but,
not to name any
yeah,
names.
I was, and you know what? That was a pivotal deal for me.
Yeah.
Because I kind of felt like I outthought the whole transaction. Someone at the club made a big fee. Someone at the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club gave me that deal.
Nice.
I believe his group made $40,000 on the deal.
Wow.
Okay. I purchased the home, and I put this whole thing together that the other guy and girl, well, their people couldn't figure out how to do it, and I got the deal, and I paid more money than they were going to pay.
Yeah.
But I was able to get control of it and close the transaction.
Sure.
It really kind of gave me a lot of juice personally. I started to see myself differently. I started to see myself who could compete with some of the best people in the area, or at least the people that have the TV shows,
right?
That are selling, commercial time on whatever channel that is.
Yeah.
But
HGTV, right?
I just felt good about myself. I felt like, boom, I can perform. I can make this happen. And I think that's what in acquisitions is really kind of the special sauce. It's the juice.
It is.
And it's nice that I can purchase access to the juice through your site. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. Once we're ready to launch it, we'll be sure to.
Really?
We won't keep it secret.
I want to hear about it.
You'll hear about it. You'll probably be one of the first people to hear about it because we need somebody to proofread it. But going back to acquisitions, because we've been telling some good stories. But I think what the people out there want to hear is, how'd you even come across that deal out by the beach that we were talking about earlier? Like what marketing effort? You had mentioned a bird dog.
Yeah. So I have what I hate to use words like I have a network. It's not like we don't have secret rings or we don't knock 3 times to get in a secret booth here. Okay, but I probably have, I would say, maybe 8 or 9 folks that I have pretty much ongoing conversations with about properties they're looking at. Mm-hmm. And some of the people are experienced enough to go put the entire thing under contract and hand it to me for a fee. Mm-hmm. And others just say, oh my gosh, that guy over there wants to sell. And then I go over and meet him and I make the deal happen.
Yeah.
So.
And what's the difference between pay? So the guy that puts the deal together, gets it under contract and opens escrow.
He could make $20,000.
Yeah, and then the guy that says, "Hey, John over there, I don't have a last name. John wants to sell his home. I have no idea where it is."
He could make $3,500.
You'd pay him $3,500 for that limited amount of information.
It would have to be the right deal, the right everything. But I don't have a problem paying someone $3,500. But they're going to work. Excuse me, if they're. It's difficult to find those that person that will actually understand exactly what is needed and done, because they're like in the acquisition story. Yeah, was all sorts of the wholesaler that is in for a big fee from me on this deal. Okay, he still, he's he's a professional at what he does. He's been doing lending for years, but he doesn't understand the acquisition. Okay, the whole part of the, the whole, what do they call it? The whole witch's brew of it, all the little things that come in.
Now I know really exactly who it is.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference I can tell you right now, it makes a big difference to the deal closing. Yeah. I had one I lost a couple of weeks ago, and we were still in acquisitions mode, and I had my lady that I've got running that part of the business going. Mm-hmm. It was really her first solo deal, and we tried to buy the property, and there was a breakdown in communication, I think, between the processors on the loan. They didn't. We made a change at the very end.
Yeah, that's tough for lenders now.
It is. No, it is. I'm going to take responsibility for that. We made a change at the very end, but it's still, there was a matter of a week and a half left for them to make this change. And most companies, I think, should have been able to figure this out. Yeah. And then there was multiple personnel, because now there's a change. There's a different level or a different tier of person involved in it. Right. And it was a bummer. We lost the transaction. Wow. So that happens. Yeah. That happens. I mean, it doesn't happen often to us, to be honest with you.
But it happens.
But it does happen, and we learned a lot, and it's a good thing for us. But that person. So that particular deal came to me through a wholesaler that brought the deal under contract. and we took the deal over. And,
Okay.
and the problem is that the way they had promised the what was finally going to the salesperson, it really the contract wasn't assignable the way they wrote it.
Okay.
So they had an assignable agreement in the contract, but it wasn't worded properly, and we didn't realize that we don't care who we paid the fee to.
Right.
But the lender had a real big problem with where the lenders want to know where the money's going. They
Sure.
want to know where everything, and I don't have a problem with that.
It's disclosure,
we
of
want
course.
to disclose all of that and where it's all going, but that's that was kind of the mistake we made, and it happens.
It happens. Yeah, been there, done that.
Yeah, and just that in itself makes us better at our acquisitions.
Right. And then next time you're talking to somebody new, you'll be able to explain to them, hey, don't do this, Well,
yeah.
They may not listen to you, like I didn't listen to the person that told me that.
But. Everybody has a reason. Everybody has a reason. I'm it's probably one of the biggest things I'm doing personally right now is trying to get those excuses out, man. There's just no room for them.
Yeah.
And it's not about me. It's not about, you and I agreed to do something together or whatever, and you couldn't fulfill your end of this agreement. It's not about the idea, that Todd, he's a son of a gun, and I'm never going to work with him again. No, that's not it at all. We've been together we've been knowing each other about 4.5 years, 5 years, something like that.
Yeah, about 5 years. I
Okay,
think.
so if we were ever to let one another down, I know that there would be a reason for it, and I know that would be something we could come back from, and I don't think there's enough civility out there. I don't think the people that are working together, it's a really, one of my team members, okay, that was kind of a constructive criticism that came back to her, was, hey, when you negotiate with people, you up the emotion so much. There's not a lot of place. A lot of people are uncomfortable with that emotion.
Yeah.
So now we're talking about acquisitions. We're talking about just me shouting and pointing my finger at you.
Yeah.
No, Todd, you're going to sell for this price.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, that's not going to work.
Well,
But
if you do, you're gonna get somebody to agree to sell you for that price. But then they're going to come back later on when they're in a place of safety and
Exactly.
and they don't have your finger in their face and they're going to
Exactly.
cancel on you.
Well, no, it's the exact situation we're in on this property out in the desert, or
Yeah.
excuse me, out at the beach.
I think it's
But-
important to note that the two things you need in a transaction are a willing buyer and a willing seller.
Exactly.
And the thing is, you can't get heated. It's not about that. This is for us. It's
Exactly.
business. For them, they get emotional. We've been accused of lowballing. I don't know how many
Yeah.
times, but you just have to explain to them. This is not a lowball. This is the best I can do. I'm an investor.
Well, exactly.
I'm not going to move into the home. It's not a home for me.
I
So
hear
it's
ya.
it's the same conversation.
So I identified that problem. We were waiting for so in this acquisitions, we're constantly kind of updating what we're doing and what our approach is, what we're saying to people. And I can tell you right now, I personally, it's not escrow's responsibility to do really much of anything that I don't instruct them to do.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Their job is not to go above and beyond.
so I'm taking it personally, okay? When I have kind of a mess up at the end where these folks are going back and forth, and in the end this mistake cost me $50,000. You got to look at it that way.
Sure.
Okay. So at the end, I messed up somewhere, and I kind of feel like I've identified where that is, and I'm going to make sure that personally, on the next deal or the next situation like this I'm in, we waited over a month for a payoff demand from the county of Kern for child support. Okay? So
Wow.
we were all scared to death. We thought that was going to blow the whole deal because we didn't know what the number was going to be.
Sure.
80, 50, 90, 200 million. I mean, I didn't know what the
Yeah.
number was going to be. Okay?
$121.
No, it was zero.
It ended up being a zero balance.
Well, I believe I know why it was a zero balance because I don't think they have the records. It's from 1998.
They should have the records.
I'm telling you right now, we actually hired a document recovery service.
So they went out and
Which,
pulled
by the way,
microfiche records and all
listen
that
to this.
stuff. Yeah.
For $29, you can hire somebody to go to any courthouse.
Yeah.
And
All the
not even
records,
any
yeah.
courthouse. Just say, hey, I'm looking for a document number this, and then they go out and locate it.
Yeah.
They couldn't locate it.
Okay.
So then I finally, with all of that wrangling, I finally went to the payoff lady at the County of Kern Department of Social Services. Now it's a state organization that has a county, a representative for each individual county.
Yeah.
Okay. So I knew when they started sending me to her, the county really doesn't have these records anymore. They're not in custody of them.
Would you have to go Bakersfield?
I don't, no, actually, I didn't end up doing anything. I ended up speaking directly to this person who had the authority to give me a zero demand.
Yeah.
That's really all that happened. And she goes, make your request. And I made my request. And 8 days later, we got a demand back for zero.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, the bird dog that I was working with sent that zero demand to the seller. And immediately they went down and recorded it.
Okay.
So when that happened, there was a little bell over my head that was going, oh, there's something going on here that I'm not aware of, that I don't understand, you know, because I felt like they were playing it like they really didn't know what they were doing.
Sure.
But then they have the wherewithal to go record this zero demand. I thought it was kind of interesting, but everything that we're talking about right now is acquisitions.
Yeah.
Everything we're talking about, everything from, hey, my associate is too heavy-handed in her dealings with, you know, agents or dealing with sellers, to, you know, the lady recorded a document that took us quite a while to find.
Yeah. But this is what it is.
All of that's acquisitions.
It is, because, I mean, we're solving all the problems that these people have now.
Yeah.
You know, they've just been hoarding problems on these properties for years, and it's our job to basically fix these problems and take them over for them so they can get out of this property cleanly. And we have to clean up all the problems with it, not just the rehabs, but we also have to clean up all the paperwork and the backlog of liens and stuff like that are on these properties before we can go to sell them, so that we can sell them to somebody new that's going to make it a home, and we can sell it with clear title.
Well,
you know,
exactly.
that's our job. So acquisition's where all the work is.
Well, and I love it, because I've had associates say to me, well, they're the sellers. Why are you doing that? And
Because
I'm like,
they don't know what they're doing.
Well, they don't know what they're doing. And if what I really want to say is, that's part of my service.
Right.
Okay. Yes, I'm paying $420,000 for a house that we might be able to sell for $750,000. Okay, but this thing was a mess. It was a complete mess.
Yeah, and most people probably wouldn't even know where to start. Do you go talk to an attorney? If you're going to do that, it's going to cost money. So how do you who's going to do this?
Exactly.
This stuff? Who's going to clean up this problem for them? You know, it's us. It's real estate investors.
Yeah.
We're the ones that end up cleaning this up for them.
It's fun, man. That's actually been the best part, and that would be the cool thing about the community you're talking about, is being able to talk to people that actually live that life, that are there every day, that are in the trenches. You know, when I was younger and not doing deals like this, and frankly just kind of dreaming about doing deals, I spent a lot of years dreaming about doing deals like this. I thought there was something that was special, that you had to, like, you know, I don't know what the heck it was. I really couldn't tell you what exactly what that is, but oh my gosh, all of a sudden now look at, there's over 20 properties, there's multiple contractors, there's, you know, compensation insurance, there's you know, retirement plans, there's all of this stuff comes into, you know, and then there's the whole acquisitions department. There's, you know, we're the maker of loans. We're like all of this stuff that's out there, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, you used to think that your $4,000 a month nut was,
exactly.
That was a big deal. Oh my God, I got to make $4,000 this month. How am I going to do that?
And you can't really explain this to anybody, because no one understands. I think we had one month a few months back. It was like $38,000 went out in payments for houses. Then there was another $8,000 in, you know, utilities and, you know, whatever, insurance and all of that kind of stuff. Then there was like 3 weeks in a row. You know, if my partner's listening right now, he'll get a tear in his eye. $70,000 a week.
Yeah.
For like 6 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was death. It was death. I mean, you know, you just.
Yeah,
hundreds of thousands of dollars going out the front door, and it's shocking. To be honest with you, it's completely shocking.
Yeah, I know.
And no one, you know, when I've told that reality to people before, and they look at you like, what, you know, like they don't really it doesn't compete. So I've heard you say this before. They say, yeah, well, really, we're just corporate debt managers. You know, that's really what it's become. And the problem with that is I'm not a corporate debt manager. So you know what I'm saying? I mean, so now that's another hat that I never, you know, I never even thought I would have this hat. But it comes to find out that being a corporate debt manager is probably one of the, well, from my point of view, if you're borrowing millions and millions of dollars to do transactions, and you're making let's say you made 18 or 20 or 35% on that money, good for you.
Yeah.
Okay. But you have to know how to manage that, because otherwise it'll become 3% instead of 18%.
Yeah, and I think what a lot of people don't realize too, sometimes you look at your, the business operations account, you look at your operating account and you say, oh my God, we got a lot of money in this account right now.
Yeah.
But
3 weeks later,
well, you can't pay attention to your to your checking account balance.
Yeah, exactly.
This is where, because there was a time there where I lived in my checking account.
Yeah.
I would log into my online banking every day,
Uh-huh.
and I'd look at how much money is in there, and I had an idea of where
Todd, I am
sat.
so glad I came here and did this with you today, because hearing the realization, okay, that you can't live your life through a checkbook.
Yeah.
I'd really, really, really like to expand on that one. I know we got minutes.
A couple
here,
minutes.
Minutes to
We'll
do.
We'll just cover an entire MBA's worth of information.
Yeah, I'm just telling you right now. That's it, man. It's really difficult to understand the cash flow and how much cash you actually have invested in the project. So great, you only have $61,000 in the bank, and next week you owe $36,000 in payments.
Yeah.
Okay, but oh yeah, 4 houses are going to close escrow, and we're going to get back $591,000.
Sure. Yeah, and then
I don't have any experience in that world.
And then you have another problem, which is like, oh wow, we're gonna have $591,000. We need to buy 2 more houses.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Because you don't want to have that money sitting, so you need to start planning accordingly.
Yeah.
Really
and then
lining it
then
up.
you're back on the treadmill, okay?
Yep.
Because if you have someone that lives in their checkbook,
Well, that's why you can't stop.
Wait, how come $86,000 went out of the checkbook? Well, we bought a house.
Yeah.
How come $71,000?
Because we started renovations on 4 houses,
Exactly.
And you can't stop any particular department. Every department in the organization has to be working full time. You can't. Acquisitions has to be working. Disposition has to be working.
Or you're out
accounting.
of business.
So
back years ago, I worked for a businessman down in Corona, and he used to say, if you're not talking to somebody about buying or selling a house, why aren't you at Disneyland?
Yeah.
Because there's no reason for you to be here if you're not working with people.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was a guy who taught me, hey, if you want to make $400,000, you have to talk to 18 people a day about buying or selling their house.
Numbers game.
So we focused on seeing 18 people a day, and we were able to come close to something like that. But that's what it takes.
Yeah.
And
you see it after you've done it enough times where you stop investor relations, for example. We did this not that long ago where we stopped the investor relations department. We were like, it's taking up a lot of time. We don't really need a lot of investors at the moment. People to bring cash in that we can buy properties
and
with.
now more people want to be an investor, right?
Well, no, that wasn't the side effect. Instead, it was, oh my God, our acquisitions team never stopped. So we have too many deals coming in. And now we're out of investor money, and we got to put together more capital. And we stopped investor relations.
So are you telling me I have to tune in for next week to find out how many great properties you guys have available for sale? Investment grade real estate?
Oh,
I
no,
mean, come on.
That's not a problem anymore. This is a problem that we had in the not too distant future, or past. I mean, and so it's not a problem for us at this moment.
Yeah, but just the relation of that, and you always kind of scratch. Well, I scratch my beard. Oh, you got a beard too, okay?
Yeah.
And you're like, why do these guys? What does the CEO of Disney do? What does he do? Okay.
He's.
I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine. I just can't imagine what it's all about. And I never really, understood it at the, I'm just sort of scratching the surface. I have a tiny little company.
I mean, you're the conductor of the band, right? You're the head guy in the orchestra. You're just pointing fingers and telling people when to do what.
I like it.
And you have your first violinist is handling, his role, his department. Everybody's got their department. You got your first chair in every single instrument. You just tell them, this is what I expect out of you. If you guys are off beat, your whole crew's fired. So
I know. It's intense. It's intense, and I really find, our business consultants really been helping us come up with just some good company values that we need to get a hold of. We need to understand who are we, what do we do, and it's hard if that's always changing, if that's never in stone. Okay, it's hard to go anywhere else from there. It really is. If you don't know really what you believe in.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with it right now. It's that's
Hey,
something I'll go home and
that's
deal with.
growing pains, and that's that's what makes it fun. We actually we do have only like a minute left, so
Oh my gosh.
you know what we should do? We should wrap up. Talk about the Real Estate Investment Club for just 1 minute. Well, the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club, for those of you people out there that want to get into real estate investing, or if you just want to come meet Jim and myself, come on out.